Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Carmina, and today we are going to talk about the poetry of Mercury Retrograde. I know if you're studying or interested in astrology these days, these weeks prior to Mercury Retrograde, your feed is probably flooded with Mercury Retrograde videos and predictions. But I'm here today to make a different type of Mercury video because I feel that this side of Mercury is not talked about or not talked about enough. So I'm here to fill that void for you guys. Yeah, I want to mention that as I'm recording this, it's the 25th of November 2024, and Mercury is stationary just before going retrograde for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to quickly share some astronomical facts that will have resonance with what we have to say about Mercury. So, first of all, the retrograde motion is like the moonwalk done by a planet. The retrograde motion only happens in reference to our perspective from the Earth. In astrology, the duration of the planet's retrograde motion depends on the distance from the Sun and the orbital speed of a planet. So planets that are closer to the Sun have shorter retrograde durations, but they are more frequent because of their faster orbits. So Mercury is the champion. Mercury is the closest advisor to the Sun. Mercury is the messenger of the Sun. It always follows the Sun very closely. It's never more than a sign away from the Sun. And even the people that are not really into astrology know about Mercury retrograde because it's so hyped up. And it's not that other planets don't go retrograde or it's not important, but it's the frequency that Mercury goes retrograde. So Mercury goes retrograde about 3-4 times a year, about every 3.5 months. As we mentioned, it takes between 21-24 days, so it's about 3 weeks. And this frequency is what makes people pay attention at least a little bit to this phenomenon. Mercury retrograde is like a dancer moving backward on a stage, and not because they are lost, but because their choreography demands introspection. It's like a cosmic pause, a rewind, a revisiting of words that were unsaid, of plans that haven't yet or have yet to be unraveled, and of truths that are whispered between the lines. Mercury is known as the messenger. Mercury in Greek mythology is Hermes, is the messenger of the gods that has very swift feet. So when Mercury is stationary like it is now, that normalcy of the swiftness and of the communication and the outflow and outpour of information stops. When it's retrograde, it seems to go inward. So imagine Mercury wearing winged sandals, brushing against the edges of time, and imagine his feet slowing down. And when Mercury's pace slows down, imagine all the messages that Mercury carries being scattered like leaves in the wind, as if they're caught in a sudden gust, as if the universe itself is putting us in a bit of a whirlwind, and it's urging us to re-examine what we have sent out into the world. We can also think of Mercury retrograde as an ocean of reflection that we get pulled into, like tides that refuse to settle. Conversations are revisited. Friendships are revisited because Mercury has to do also with friends. Plans are revisited, travel plans, paperwork, maybe older plans, older thoughts, older ideas that were forgotten now can resurface like hidden treasure. In pop culture, Mercury is very famous for broken communication of some kind. It's famous for wires being crossed, for computer malfunctions, for emails going haywire. But in this kind of poetic chaos lies the opportunity for understanding. What is miscommunication if not a mirror that shows us where clarity emerges from? It's a time when silence speaks louder than words, and wrong turns lead us down the right path. The fact that Mercury goes retrograde so often also reminds us of the ebb and flow and the cyclical nature of existence. This is not about disruption, but about revisiting the past to better understand the present and plan ahead for the future. Mercury retrograde is a call to slow down. There's something deeply poetic about being forced to pause in a world that thrives on speed. Mercury retrograde asks us to breathe, to reconsider, and to see the beauty in imperfection. Like a writer editing their draft, it offers us a chance to revisit our story. Mercury retrograde is like a friend that you haven't seen in years, and he takes you on a walk in your hometown or in a place that you are very familiar with. And by having the conversation with this old friend, you are reminded of things that you have overlooked or you have forgotten. And what's very important is that at the end of this retrograde period, there is always clarity. When Mercury resumes its forward motion, the poetry lingers. Fragments of lessons that were learned, of connections, friendships that were mended, and why not truths that have been revealed. That's the gift of awareness of Mercury's retrograde motion. These are my musings about Mercury retrograde. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. You can always check my website, karmina-amza.com, for info about readings and upcoming courses. I'll see you again soon with another video. Enjoy Mercury retrograde. Bye!